I'm Diana Skaya, and welcome to Face to Face, our weekly summary of top events, but from a Central European perspective. And my guest today is TVP World Editor-in-Chief Michał Broniatowski. Michał, hello.
Hello.
Quite an important event taking place right now. President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Donald Trump have just recently ended speaking to the press right before their luncheon right now. Michał, what came out of this so far?
You know...
What's at stake here?
Well, they have a good meal, that's for sure. And before the meal, President Trump was boasting about him finishing 8 wars, and now he's going to finish the 9th. And he says it's quite an easy piece of cake. Well, I'm afraid he's again sent by Mr. Putin to the wall. And it may be painful because, you know, Putin risked a lot when he himself asked for a phone call, a conversation with with President Trump. It took place yesterday.
But before, Michał, we get into that phone call, because it's going to definitely be the other important point that we will touch upon, I just want us to listen to a soundbite that had just taken place between Trump and Zelensky.
Most likely it's going to be a double meeting. It'll be a double meeting, but we will have the President, Zelensky, in touch. There's a lot of bad blood with the two presidents, and I'm not speaking out of turn when I say it. It's a very difficult situation. You know, we just settled the war, and after thousands of years, I guess, people say anywhere from 500 to 3,000 years, and I was in rooms, as you saw, because you were with me, a lot of you were with me last week, with leaders that didn't like each other, but they were able to get along. These two leaders do not like each other, and we want to make it comfortable for everybody. So one way or the other will be involved in threes, but it may be separated.
Well, Michał, we heard it right there, and with everything that that you just said, finishing 8 wars, he's taking all the credit for it.
Yes, and you know, he's getting together. He wants to get together two leaders who don't like each other, as he said, and he compared it to the group in Sharm el-Sheikh last week, who gathered to witness the ceremony of signing a peace agreement between
Israel and Gaza.
Exactly. You know, none of these leaders is at war with any other leaders, any other countries. Here we have an aggressor, mass murderer, Vladimir Putin, and a guy who is defending his country against the aggression. Of course they don't like each other. Why should they? And the role of the mediator is to be sure that when they come together, they have a almost prepared piece of paper to
resolve the conflict.
Exactly, and I think so many times over the last 9 months now, Trump was letting Putin to get him into his you know, little hole, in which he was telling him, "I want peace, but." And then you had the list of demands which are impossible to be fulfilled by Ukraine, and he's also changing really the goal, because the goal should be ceasefire now and then discuss about conditions. What Putin is doing, he wants to, you know, to meet his demands, and only then we have the ceasefire.
Michał, I'm just getting news now that it seems as though the briefing of President Zelensky is going to be postponed. I mean, we don't have all the information right now, but what can we assume is taking place probably in such a short lunch? Disagreements already. There's talk, of course, about the Tomahawk missiles.
I think Ukrainians are already aware, and unofficially some members of Zelensky entourage in Washington were saying that they wouldn't expect any firm commitments from President Trump, especially that him doing some unfriendly decisions, unfriendly towards Russia decisions 2 weeks before he is going to sit down with him in Budapest. It would be strange to expect something like that. And look what happened. On one side, Mr. Trump was several times repeating that America doesn't want to be short of Tomahawks. But it was not a problem 2 weeks ago.
And suddenly he held a phone call with Putin.
Yeah, yes, and on the other side of the table was Mr. Zelensky, who was talking about the importance of Tomahawks. But when asked what is the most important goal for him, he didn't say Tomahawks. He said strong security guarantees. So he wants to
bilateral security guarantees. Yes.
He wants to discuss with Trump some sort of assurances that Ukraine will not be left alone after ceasefire or some temporary peace or whatever.
I mean, Michał, why is so difficult? I mean, what we're seeing on screen now, it's the range of these Tomahawk missiles. I mean, why is so difficult for Donald Trump to really, give in to Zelensky? I mean, he's saying that he wants to end this war, and then on the other hand, it looks as if it's empty words.
Because Putin doesn't want to end this war before he achieves his impossible goals, and Trump apparently doesn't want to make Putin angry, because he's constantly trying, and he can see that it's useless, but he's trying to lure Putin from the orbit of China and be bigger friend of Moscow than Beijing is a friend of Moscow. But it doesn't work, this tactics or strategy, and he should have learned about it until now. And
I mean, Moscow is saying that this would escalate the war even further, right? And of course, deteriorate U.S.-Russia quote-unquote relations. For Ukraine, it's absolutely essential to continue the flow of weapons, not only Tomahawks. Any other type of weapons. It's about 50% lower deliveries in the first half of this year compared to the previous year, the same period of previous year. Right, there was a study that came out this week on
exactly. So if you look at the number of Russian missiles and drones being shot down on a given night, almost every night now, it is much lower. The number of the percentage of those shot down compared to the very not distant past. The problem is that they don't have munitions to shoot them down.
Meanwhile, Ukraine still does successfully strike Russian territory. As well, right? I want to ask you, Michał, about this meeting. I mean, of course, we don't know yet. We can just assume, how we always assume with President Trump. My question to you is, how will President Putin get to Hungary?
Interesting question. Maybe using a ballistic missile. But, he has to fly through first one of NATO member states, and two, above a state which is a member of the agreement, the Rome Agreement over the International Court of Criminal Court, which accused President Putin of war crimes, which means that he needs to, well, genocide even, and that he needs, because of that, to be detained in every country that belongs to this organization. And again,
hence, how is he going to get to Hungary?
You know, everybody around is the member of ICC, and very difficult question, unless there is a diplomatic agreement that for such an important meeting, opening a way for peace in Ukraine, some countries may
believe
or agree for a single case of allowing him to fly.
Do you think that Hungary is going to become another Alaska fiasco situation?
You know, there are much more chances for it to be Alaska, not geographically but politically. You know, there's this huge pomp in Anchorage to greet Mr. Putin. Then Putin tells Trump during their talk that he will not give up an inch, which, according to media reports, almost prompted Trump to break the meeting short. Well, for sure, they gave up on eating after this conversation. So, you know, obviously, this this move by Putin to give him a ring one day before the meeting and persuade him to further talking and agreeing for another meeting with Trump is a trick.
Well, he's trying to again evade possibly further sanctions, trying to evade being cornered.
You know, we can hear all these. We will do it in about 2 weeks. Always, it's about 2 weeks.
With vague language.
It's even worse than vague language. it's just avoiding responsibility, and he's saying that sanctions on Russia will be imminent in about 2 weeks, and then not a word uttered by Mr. Trump after the meeting in Alaska. Now we have this meeting in Budapest, which may take place with some difficulties, but let's hope it will take place, and there will be some result, but I wouldn't bet on it.
I want to ask you also, meanwhile all of this, the European Commission is planning to use frozen assets belonging to the Russian Central Bank to finance a 140 billion euro reparation loan for Ukraine. Of course, most of those funds will be used to buy weapons and support. How realistic is this in practice, Michał?
The fund?
Yeah, how realistic is this plan in practice?
Well, you know, it's a very simple financial operation that you create a loan backed by the funds sitting on some account. The problem may be in future that Russians complain about their money being used as collateral, but
is it going to cause some tensions between EU members itself?
Well, it is already causing tensions, but I think it will sooner or later this money will be released, because there is also a pressure from the United States. And today the European Commission revealed to the ambassadors of member states a proposal that large part of this 140 billion or more of Russian money will be used to buy weapons from the US, because Trump is adamant that he's not going to provides for free
alone by of course.
any weapons to Ukraine, and the only way is for Europe to buy it from him, from the US, and this will be the source of funds for these purchases.
Michał, let's talk about Europe's Preserving Peace Defence Readiness Roadmap 2030. So the 27 EU member states can be military prepared if Russia decides to attack by 2030. So, Michał, our TVP World correspondent in Brussels, Angela Skujins, actually sat down with High Representative Kaya Kallas and asked whether Putin respects certain timelines. Let's listen in.
Poland has a role as well, considering that Poland has a border with Belarus and already has experienced the drone incursions. But I think all of us together, including Poland, we have so much to learn from Ukraine. We should work together with them. I was just visiting also the drone factories in Ukraine. It's incredible, the innovation that they do, how fast they are in production and really innovating to take down the attack drones. So I think it is to the benefit of our taxpayers as well, because the cost is much cheaper than it has been before to work together with the Ukrainian defense industry.
So there you have it, Kaya Kallas discussing Poland's role. What do you think about full European defense readiness by 2030, Michał?
Let's hope it'll take place. And Europe is already talking about mobilizing about 800 billion euros in the future budget to get prepared to the war, to a war, and very good that they already have some roadmap, as it is called, the Defence Readiness Roadmap, which is a plan that in 5 years' time there will be Europe will be ready on some key military defense areas, ready to face Russian threat, and it's drones, Air Force, even Space Shield, as they call it, and they will be. They also want to be prepared for military mobility. We are talking here about building bridges who can carry heavy tanks, and technological transformation. The war is becoming all the time more Star Wars. 5
years' time doesn't seem so far away. I mean, if we just remember 5 years ago, the pandemic started, already ended, and it feels as if it was just yesterday. Michał, I want to move on to our next topic. A Polish court has blocked the extradition of Ukrainian citizen Volodymyr Zelensky, who is wanted by Germany over his alleged involvement in the 2022 Nord Stream pipeline explosion, the blast that severely damaged that Russia-Germany gas pipelines under the Baltic Sea. Michał, I see you with a big smile on your face. What do you want to tell me? I mean, are we seeing Polish-German relations deteriorate? We have a quote here actually by Polish Premier Donald Tusk. If we can see that on screen for a moment, but do tell me what your thoughts are about this.
Poland was asked by Germany to extradite a Ukrainian citizen whom they accuse of being instrumental in blowing up 3 pipes of the 4 pipes of the Nord Stream pipeline, and it's very funny because Germans are very solid, and they said that they destroyed German installations, whether it is German or not. I mean, being so, it's ridiculous what Germany did. It's really shameful because, and it was both confirmed by the judge today, and also confirmed later by Prime Minister Tusk, that Ukraine, as an attacked country, have all rights to defend itself in a form of destroying the aggressor's facilities. And of course, Nord Stream is such a facility. Whether it causes problems to German gas supplies is completely separate story. First of all, if it was really Ukraine which destroyed it, it is, they have all right, and the judge says they were justified, rational.
Justified what?
Rational and just, rather than acting unlawfully.
Yeah, we have it right there. It's a quote by the judge of the Warsaw Circuit Court, Dariusz Lubowski, who says since 2014 a war has been raging, a bloody and genocidal assault by the Russian Federation on the independent Ukrainian state. From the perspective of international law, actions taken in self-defense, exactly how you said it, Michał, against aggression, including the destruction of enemy infrastructure, constitute an element of what is known as a just war. Its purpose is to stop evil, not to seize territory or pursue expansion. But I mean, doesn't Germany understand that?
Well, they may have, they definitely understand that, but they forgot about it. They, judge which did it, he only looked, at articles of some penal code. Of the penal code of Germany, which were apparently broken, but he didn't look at the context. It was not a sabotage, just simple sabotage or criminal act. It was act of self-defense of the country which was attacked by Russia.
Michał, why is, 3 years on, why is this Nord Stream investigation still so such a heated debate and so politically explosive until today?
Because billions of dollars were spent on it for once, and even more importantly, it was treated by Germany as their strategic endeavor, and it was now it is destroyed and doomed, together with Germany's reputation. They completely ignored interests of their neighbors in security interests of their neighbors. First of all, Poland and Baltic countries, and also of Ukraine, because Russians, long before they started building Nord Stream, they proved that they use gas exports as a tool in a war against in a war against its European neighbors. So
yet another tool that they use among many others. Michał, and just one last question before we go. I do find it absolutely important to go back to this meeting that's taking place between Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump. I mean, moving forward, particularly for Ukraine, I mean, this is going to be once again a big step for President Zelensky. If this time around, just a scenario, I am putting a scenario in front of you. If Ukraine doesn't walk out with these Tomahawk missiles, what continues?
Well, he probably won't, and then he knows about it, as we said already. And it's very important. If you look at 3 meetings of Zelensky in the White House and compare it to the meeting on February 28th, and then a meeting together with leaders, top leaders of Europe. In the White House, and today's meeting, in which in fact, he's a partner who is discussing at the table. Two delegations are discussing the future. So it's all this path is really a big success of Ukrainian diplomacy, to the effect that one day ahead of that, Mr. Putin is calling Mr. Trump, please talk to me before this event. Of course, he's again.
And meanwhile, we are still waiting. Michał, that's all the time that we have for today. Unfortunately, we can still go on. However, we are waiting still to hear about the press briefing between Donald Trump and President Zelensky. And on this, for now, we end this edition of Face to Face. We'll see you here next week. Stay on with TVP World for more news and analysis. And as we keep you updated with more breaking news and on the unfolding developments that are taking place in the White House. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching.